The vast darkness of space surrounded the Federation research vessel as it approached the blue-green planet. From the observation deck, Chief Xenobiologist Krell stared at the viewscreen with all four of his eyes widened in disbelief. "Impossible," he muttered, his gray skin paling slightly. "The readings must be incorrect." His assistant, Luma, triple-checked the instruments. "All readings are consistent, sir. This planet registers as a Class 15 Deathworld, the highest classification we've ever encountered." The science team gathered around the holographic display showing the planet's data. Earth, as the natives called it, exhibited characteristics that should make advanced life impossible. High gravity, atmospheric oxygen levels considered toxic to most spacefaring species, extreme temperature variations, aggressive predators, and constant tectonic activity. And yet, Krell gestured toward the planet's night side, where clusters of light revealed vast cities spread across the continents. Life not only exists but thrives. They've built civilizations. Captain Drell joined them, her ceremonial cloak fluttering behind her. "The Council is demanding answers. No species should be able to evolve in such conditions, let alone develop technology." "Perhaps they're not native to this world," suggested Luma. "Maybe they terraformed it poorly." Krell shook his head. "No, our biological scans show they evolved here. These humans are perfectly adapted to conditions that would kill any of us within minutes." The captain frowned. "Then we maintain orbit and observe. No contact." Miles below, in the forested mountains of a region called Colorado, Jack Miller hiked alone through the early morning mist. At 42, with weathered skin and calloused hands, he embodied the rugged individualism of the region. After 20 years working as a mechanical engineer in the city, he'd saved enough to build his workshop in the mountains and pursue his own projects. The sharp crack of something breaking the sound barrier made him look up. A streak of light crossed the sky, followed by the impact tremor he felt through his boots. "Well, that wasn't a meteor," Jack muttered, adjusting his backpack. His curiosity piqued. He changed direction toward where he estimated the object had landed. After an hour of difficult hiking, he found it, a perfectly smooth oval device about the size of a football, nestled in a small crater. It showed no damage despite the impact. The material wasn't like anything he recognized. Not metal, not ceramic, not plastic. "Hello, what are you?" Jack whispered, crouching beside it. The surface had no seams or obvious controls. When he cautiously touched it, the device responded with a soft hum. Jack's instinct told him to leave it alone. His curiosity told him otherwise. After a moment's hesitation, curiosity won. He carefully placed the device in his backpack and headed back to his workshop. On the Federation vessel, alarms blared. "The probe's been compromised," Luma shouted, fingers flying across the control panel. Someone found it. Krell rushed to the console. "Activate the retrieval protocol." "I can't," Luma said. "The human is interfering with our signal." On the screen, they watched through the probe's sensors as a human carried it into a primitive structure filled with tools and half-finished inventions. "Fascinating," Krell whispered as they observed Jack place the probe on a workbench and begin examining it with simple instruments. "Look how carefully he handles it. There's intelligence there and methodical curiosity." "He's trying to open it," Captain Drell said with alarm. "If he activates the wrong systems." As if on cue, the probe glowed brightly. Jack jumped back, but instead of running away, he leaned closer, his face showing intense interest. "He's not afraid," Krell noted with amazement. "Any rational being would flee from unknown technology." The probe's communication array activated, sending a signal directly to the ship. "We've been detected," Luma announced, panic in her voice. Captain Drell's voice turned cold. "Prepare for emergency departure. The Council must be informed immediately." "Wait," Krell said, watching Jack's face on the screen. "This could be our chance to understand how humans survive on a death world." The mission parameters were clear: observe only. But now we've accidentally made contact, Krell argued. Shouldn't we learn from it? As they argued, Jack Myers carefully studied the glowing device, unaware that he had just initiated first contact between humanity and the Galactic Federation. 3 days had passed since the probe incident, and the Federation research vessel remained in orbit, hidden behind Earth's moon. The Council had convened an emergency session through quantum communication links, their holographic images floating around the ship's conference room. "This is unprecedented," said Counselor Mira, her translucent form shimmering with agitation. "A Class 15 Deathworld with intelligent life is a security concern." "Or an opportunity," Krell interjected, earning disapproving glances from several council members. The Grand Counselor, an ancient being named Tor, raised a gnarled hand for silence. "Show us your findings, Chief Xenobiologist." Krell activated the holographic display. "Humans are extraordinary adaptations to extreme conditions. Their bodies can repair significant damage. They can survive in temperatures ranging from freezing to scorching. Most surprisingly, they require oxygen to live, a gas that would be toxic to most Federation species." The display showed humans engaged in various activities around the planet. "Observe," said Krell, "these humans are deliberately jumping from aircraft for recreation." The video showed skydivers in freefall. "Madness," muttered Counselor Mira. "Here, they descend into the crushing pressures of their oceans," Krell continued, showing deep-sea divers. "And here, they climb vertical rock faces with minimal equipment." Commander Vax, the military representative, leaned forward. "They appear physically resilient and show little fear. What about their weapons technology?" "Still primitive by our standards," Krell replied, "but advancing rapidly." "And the human who found our probe?" asked Tor. Luma brought up the live feed from the probe. In his workshop, Jack was carefully disassembling parts of the casing, using simple tools with surprising effectiveness. "He's managed to access the power matrix without triggering the security protocols," Luma explained. "His approach is intuitive rather than methodical, yet effective." "He's dangerous," Commander Vax declared. "We should retrieve the probe immediately and implement quarantine protocols for this system." Krell shook his head. "I disagree. This human represents a first contact opportunity." "Your scientific curiosity is clouding your judgment," Vax interrupted. "These creatures evolved on a planet that would kill any of us in minutes. Their natural aggression and resilience make them potential threats." In his workshop, Jack worked through another night. Dark circles had formed under his eyes, but excitement kept him going. The alien device, because what else could it be, had yielded incredible insights. "The power source doesn't make sense," he mumbled to himself, examining a tiny component that glowed faintly. "No battery, no fuel. It's like it's drawing energy from somewhere else." He carefully documented everything, filling notebooks with diagrams and observations. Something about the device's inner workings suggested it was a communication tool, perhaps some kind of advanced satellite. Jack connected his modified radio receiver to a component he'd extracted. His equipment crackled with strange patterns of static that couldn't be random noise. "You're trying to talk to someone," he said to the device. "Let's see if we can help you do that." Back on the ship, alarms suddenly blared. "The human has activated the probe's communication array," Luma reported, fingers flying across controls. "Shut it down," ordered Captain Drell. "I can't," Luma replied. "He's rewired it somehow. It's now broadcasting on multiple frequencies." Krell watched the human's actions with growing fascination. He's trying to establish communication. In 3 days, with no prior knowledge of our technology, he's figured out the basic function of a Federation probe. Commander Vax's hologram flickered with anger. "This confirms they're dangerous. I'm dispatching a stealth retrieval team immediately." "Wait," Krell pleaded. "This is an opportunity to learn." "The decision is made," Grand Counselor Tor stated firmly. "Retrieve the probe. Continue observation from a safe distance. No direct contact." As the council meeting ended, Krell remained watching Jack's determined efforts. Something in the human's persistence touched him. Against protocol, he made a decision that would change everything. "Luma," he said quietly, "help me establish a direct channel to the probe. If this human wants to communicate, let's see what he has to say." The morning sun streamed through Jack's workshop windows as he dozed in his chair, head resting on folded arms beside the alien probe. Suddenly, the device pulsed with a bright blue light, startling him awake. "What the—" Jack jumped back as the probe projected a holographic display into the air above his workbench. Strange symbols flowed across the projection, constantly shifting and rearranging. Jack stared, transfixed, as the alien characters gradually transformed into recognizable letters and numbers. "Is this English?" he whispered in disbelief. Words formed in the projection. "Communication stabilis HED. Emergency alert." Jack's heart raced. After days of tinkering with the device, he'd somehow triggered a response. "Hello," he said cautiously. "Can you understand me?" The text changed. "AFFIR remative. Warning. Solar event detcted. Catastrophic impact imminent." On the Federation ship, Krell worked frantically at his console, while Captain Drell shouted behind him. "You've violated direct council orders," she raged. "End this communication immediately." "I can't," Krell replied, not looking up from his work. "The massive solar flare our sensors detected will hit Earth within 48 hours. Their technology isn't advanced enough to detect it in time." Luma stood nervously between them. The flare's magnitude would devastate their power grids and communication systems. Millions could die. "That is not our concern," Captain Drell insisted. "The non-interference directive is absolute for pre-contact species." "Contact already happened when our probe landed," Krell argued. "I'm simply preventing a disaster we could have warned them about." Commander Vax's hologram appeared in the center of the room. "My retrieval team is 20 hours from deployment. End this unauthorized communication, or face imprisonment for treason against the Federation." Krell turned to face them all, his four eyes steady with resolve. "Then I accept the consequences. I won't let an entire civilization suffer when we could help." In government facilities across Earth, communication systems suddenly activated with the same message. At NASA, the Pentagon, the European Space Agency, and dozens of other locations, screens displayed warnings about an approaching solar event of unprecedented magnitude. Emergency meetings were called. Scientists verified the data and confirmed its accuracy. Somehow, someone had detected a massive solar flare that their own equipment had missed. "The source claims to be non-human," explained a nervous NASA director to the assembled officials on a secure video call. "Are we saying this is first contact with aliens?" asked a general, voicing what everyone was thinking. "The data is accurate," replied the lead scientist. "Whoever sent this knows more about solar physics than we do, and they're trying to help us." Jack watched in amazement as the probe displayed detailed technical information about the approaching solar flare. Then it showed suggestions for protecting key infrastructure, methods far beyond current Earth technology. "Who are you?" Jack typed into the makeshift interface he created. The response came quickly. "I am Karail, CHIEFXENOBIOOGISD, of the Galactic Federation. I am risking much to warn your planet." "Why would you risk anything for us?" Jack asked. "Because ALO life has value. Time is short. Your leaders have received my warning, but they do need help main intyng protctyns." The probe projected schematics for a shield device, something that could be built using Earth materials but incorporating principles of alien science. "I'm just one person," Jack said. "I can't build this alone." You do going to be alone. Others are coming. As if on cue, Jack's phone rang. It was a government number. "Mr. Miller," said the voice on the other end. "This is General Adams. We understand you've been in contact with whoever sent the global warning. We need your help." Jack looked at the alien schematics floating above his workbench, then at the probe that had changed everything. "I'll help," he said, "but you should know, we're not alone anymore." Aboard the Federation ship, alarms blared as Commander Vax's vessel appeared from hyperspace. "Arrest the xenobiologist," came Vax's order across the communication channel. But Krell was already downloading everything humans would need to survive the coming storm into the probe's memory. As security officers approached, he pressed the final command to send the data. "It's done," he told Luma quietly. "Now we'll see what humans can do with a genuine challenge." 48 hours later, the solar flare struck Earth with devastating force. The sky blazed with auroras visible even in daylight, a beautiful harbinger of the chaos unfolding below. Power grids failed across entire continents despite frantic preparations. Communications went dark in waves as satellites faltered. In a hastily established command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Jack worked alongside a team of scientists and engineers. The room hummed with generators and the glow of emergency lighting as they monitored the few systems still functioning. "Eastern seaboard is completely dark," reported a technician, her face illuminated by her screen. "Europe lost connection 5 minutes ago." General Adams studied the global situation map, now mostly red. "What about the shield prototypes?" Jack checked the readings from the modified communication array they'd built using Krell's designs. "The 3 we managed to deploy are holding. They're protecting the power stations in their radius, just like he said they would." 3 shields for an entire planet," muttered the general. "Not enough." Jack pointed to the readings. "But they're working. This proves the alien technology is compatible with ours. If we can hold on through this first wave, we can build more." A scientist interrupted. "Another surge coming in 20 minutes, stronger than the first." Aboard the Federation ship, now joined by Commander Vax's military vessel, Krell sat in custody, watched by armed guards. Despite his situation, he couldn't tear his eyes from the monitoring screens showing Earth's struggle. "Remarkable," he murmured, watching as humans worked in coordinated emergency response teams. "Their infrastructure is failing, yet they adapt almost instantly." Luma, who had been permitted to continue monitoring duties, approached cautiously. "The human shields are functioning at 87% efficiency, impressive considering they built them with primitive materials in less than 2 days." Commander Vax stormed onto the bridge. "This observation continues to violate Council directives. We will depart immediately." "We can't leave now," Krell protested. "They're using our technology. Without guidance, they could create something dangerous." "That is precisely why we must leave," Vax replied coldly. "You've given primitives access to Federation science." Captain Drell, who had been silent, suddenly spoke. "The Council's new orders, Commander. We are to remain and monitor the situation." She avoided Krell's surprised gaze. The unexpected resilience of these humans has sparked interest. In the command center, alarms blared as the second wave hit. The few remaining functional screens flickered. One of the shields failed, causing a cascade of power outages across the western states. "We're losing control," shouted an engineer as systems crashed around them. Jack's communication device, the one linked to the alien probe, suddenly activated. Complex schematics filled the screen, different from the original designs. "It's Krell," Jack said. "He's sending modifications for the shields." "How do you know we can trust him?" demanded the general. Jack pointed to the data streaming in. "Because these adjustments account for the increased radiation patterns we're seeing. He's analyzing the flare in real time and helping us respond." "We have no choice," the scientist admitted. "Our models can't keep up with these fluctuations." Working through the night, Jack's team implemented Krell's modifications to the remaining shields. Engineers worldwide followed their instructions, fighting to protect critical infrastructure using the alien designs. From orbit, Krell and the Federation observers watched in amazement as humans refused to surrender to conditions that would have caused most species to abandon their cities. "They're not retreating," noted Captain Drell with surprise. "Even in the most damaged areas, they're adapting, creating workarounds. Look at their emergency response protocols," Luma added. "They train for disasters regularly. It's as if they expect their world to try to kill them." Commander Vax observed silently, his earlier dismissal giving way to grudging interest. These humans weren't merely surviving the catastrophe. They were fighting back with remarkable coordination. In the command center, as the solar storm began to subside, Jack received one more message through the probe's communication system. "Prepare avoir de requêtes contact. Federation Council, requestes, FORMALMEETing." Jack showed the message to General Adams, whose weathered face showed both exhaustion and wonder. "So," the general said quietly, "I guess we passed their test." "No," Jack replied, understanding dawning. "I don't think this was a test. I think we just showed them something they've never seen before, how to thrive in the face of destruction." Above them, Federation ships decloaked, becoming visible in Earth's sky for the first time. 3 days after the solar storm subsided, a Federation diplomatic vessel landed on a remote military base in Nevada. The world watched through hastily restored broadcast systems as the ship's doors opened, revealing beings that challenged human comprehension. Jack stood among the welcoming committee, hands trembling slightly. Beside him, General Adams maintained a stoic expression, though his white-knuckled grip on his hat betrayed his nervousness. "Remember," the general whispered, "we represent all of humanity now." The alien delegation emerged, 5 different species, each more bizarre than the last. Jack immediately recognized Krell from the holographic communications, a tall, gray-skinned being with 4 eyes and 6-fingered hands. Behind him walked Captain Drell, her scaled skin shimmering in the sunlight, and Commander Vax, whose massive form and rigid posture screamed military despite his alien appearance. "On behalf of Earth, we welcome you," said the President, stepping forward with an extended hand. The aliens stared at the outstretched hand in confusion. After an awkward moment, Krell mimicked the gesture, touching his 6 fingers to the President's 5. "We bring greetings from the Galactic Federation," Krell said, his voice translated through a device at his throat. "Your world has attracted significant attention." The meeting moved to a hastily prepared conference room, where cultural misunderstandings quickly multiplied. When offered water, Captain Drell recoiled. "You drink hydrogen oxide willingly?" she asked in horror. "It's necessary for our survival," explained a scientist. "Fascinating," Krell said, making notes. "A biological requirement for a solvent that would dissolve the respiratory systems of most Federation species." When lunch was served, more confusion followed. Commander Vax watched in disgust as humans bit directly into their food. "You expose yourselves to raw biological matter?" he asked, appalled. "Without sterilization." "It's called eating," Jack explained. "How do you consume nutrients?" "Through absorption pads," Krell answered, showing a small patch on his arm. "Chemical nutrition only. Biological consumption is considered primitive." Jack smiled wryly. "Well, we're full of surprises." The real shock came during the medical exchange. When Federation doctors displayed images of human anatomy, the aliens became visibly disturbed. "Your bodies continuously produce new cells?" asked a Federation medical officer. "And your skin routinely sheds and replaces itself?" "Of course," replied a human doctor. "Don't yours?" "Absolutely not," the alien responded. Such uncontrolled replication would be considered a dangerous biological disorder in any Federation species. Later, during a demonstration of human physical capabilities, a Federation security officer panicked when an athlete lifted weights that would crush most alien species. The officer fired a warning shot from his energy weapon, leaving a scorch mark on the wall. Commander Vax immediately ordered his security team to defensive positions. "These humans are physically superior to our strongest species," he hissed to Captain Drell. "They could overpower us easily." General Adams raised his hands calmly. "It was just a demonstration. We mean no harm." That evening, Jack found Krell examining earth plants in the base's garden area. "Your world is beautiful," Krell said, though terrifying. "Everything here seems designed to survive aggressive conditions." "It's just home to us," Jack replied. He hesitated, then asked the question that had been bothering him. "Krell, I found something in your ship's database that the translator gave me access to. You've been terraforming planets throughout the galaxy." Krell's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Of course. We make worlds habitable." "By whose standards?" Jack asked quietly. "Because according to your logs, you've changed dozens of worlds that were similar to Earth, reduced their gravity, removed what you call toxins like oxygen, stabilized weather patterns." Understanding dawned in Krell's expression. "Worlds that could have developed life like yours." Jack nodded solemnly. "Worlds where species like humans might have evolved naturally, if given the chance." "We never considered," Krell started, his voice trailing off, "that the conditions you find hostile might be perfect for other forms of life." Jack finished for him. As darkness fell, the two stood together in silence, both contemplating a universe far more diverse than either had imagined. Above them, stars appeared, countless worlds with countless possibilities, suddenly seen through new eyes. "The Federation Council will never understand this," Krell finally said. "They still think your survival here is some kind of anomaly." "Then we'll have to show them it's not," Jack replied. "That what you call a Deathworld, we just call Tuesday." 1 week after the landing, the Federation Council convened on their ship to discuss Earth's status. Their debate was broadcast to government representatives worldwide as a show of transparency. Jack sat in the viewing room alongside General Adams and a team of scientists, watching the aliens argue about humanity's fate. "The evidence is clear," said Counselor Mira, her holographic form flickering slightly. "Humans have adapted to conditions we classify as lethal. Their physiology is remarkably durable. They consume toxins for pleasure. They deliberately seek out danger." Grand Counselor Tor raised a gnarled hand. "The question before us is not what humans are, but what they represent to galactic stability." Commander Vax stepped forward. "I propose Earth be classified as a protected reservation. Humans may continue their existence here, but with restricted space travel rights and limited access to Federation technology." Jack clenched his fists as he listened. The translation was clear. The Federation saw humans as dangerous curiosities to be contained, not equals. "Absolutely not," General Adams muttered. "We won't accept being treated like a zoo exhibit." On screen, Krell spoke up. "With respect, Commander, humans have demonstrated extraordinary potential. During the solar crisis, they adapted our technology to their needs in days, something that would take most species years of training." "Which precisely proves my point," Vax countered. "Their adaptability makes them unpredictable. Unpredictability leads to chaos." When the Council's proposal was formally presented to Earth's representatives, the response was immediate rejection. "We appreciate the Federation's interest in our protection," the President stated diplomatically, "but Earth demands equal standing in any interstellar relationship." Commander Vax laughed, a harsh sound through the translator. "Equal standing. Your species has barely reached your own moon. The Federation includes civilizations that have traveled the stars for millennia. Yet none of them evolved on a world like ours," Jack interjected, earning sharp looks from the diplomatic team for speaking out of turn. But now that he'd started, he couldn't stop. "You call Earth a death world, but to us, it's home. Maybe what the Federation needs isn't another compliant member, but one that sees challenges differently." The room fell silent. Even the aliens seemed surprised by his boldness. After a moment, Jack continued, an idea forming. In fact, I propose a series of challenges, tests pitting Federation representatives against humans in various scenarios. If we prove ourselves capable, Earth joins as a full member with equal rights. Preposterous, snapped Commander Vax. But Grand Counselor Torres Hologram leaned forward with interest. What sort of challenges do you propose? 3 days later, the first challenge began. Survival in Earth's various environments with minimal equipment. Federation participants wore protective suits, while humans used only standard gear. In the Amazon rainforest, Commander Vax's team struggled with the humidity and insect life, abandoning their camp after 12 hours. The human team thrived, building shelters and finding food sources. In the Arctic Challenge, Federation members couldn't comprehend how humans endured the cold. Their technology failed in the extreme conditions, while the human team adapted using traditional methods learned from indigenous peoples. In the Ocean Challenge, Federation representatives refused to even enter the water without complete environmental isolation. Meanwhile, human freedivers demonstrated abilities that seemed impossible to the aliens. With each test, more Federation observers arrived in orbit, fascinated by the unexpected results. Species that had dismissed Earth as a death trap now watched with growing interest as humans demonstrated skills evolved over thousands of generations. They're not just surviving, Krell explained to the Council after the 5th challenge. They're enjoying it. What we see as hardship, they view as opportunity. Commander Vax had grown increasingly agitated with each human success. The final challenge remains, he reminded everyone. The exploration of Sector 19X, a genuine Class 18 Deathworld. No Federation expedition has ever returned from such a planet. Jack, overhearing this, smiled confidently. Then it's time someone did. Later that night, as Jack prepared his equipment for the final challenge, he didn't notice the shadow that fell across his doorway. Commander Vax, watching with narrowed eyes as he slipped away to make certain arrangements of his own. Enjoy your confidence while it lasts, human, Vax whispered. Some worlds truly are unconquerable, even for your kind. The transport ship shuddered as it entered the atmosphere of planet XR 720, known in Federation records as a Class 18 Deathworld. Through the viewport, Jack observed a landscape that made Earth look hospitable by comparison. Violent electrical storms, rivers of liquid methane, and jagged mountains under crushing gravity. Final approach to landing zone, announced the Federation pilot, voice tense. Atmospheric conditions are deteriorating. External temperature at -120 degrees. Jack glanced at his team. 5 humans chosen for their expertise in extreme environments. They checked their modified environmental suits, a hybrid of Earth and Federation technology designed by Krell and Jack during late-night collaboration sessions. Remember, Jack told them, we're not just exploring. We're proving a point. Across the cabin sat Commander Vax with 3 Federation specialists. Krell had insisted on joining as an observer, despite Vax's objections. This expedition is a mistake, Vax declared coldly. No sentient should set foot on a Class 18 world. Yet here we are, Jack replied with a tight smile. The ship landed with a bone-jarring thud. As the outer hatch opened, instruments immediately began flashing warnings. Gravity at 2.3 Earth standard, reported a human scientist. Atmosphere highly toxic. Radiation levels elevated but within tolerance for our suits. The Federation team stepped out reluctantly, their movements awkward in the enhanced gravity. The humans followed, adjusting their stances to compensate for the increased weight. Initial survey perimeter is 5 kilometers, Jack reminded everyone. We have 24 hours to collect samples and return. 4 hours into the expedition, disaster struck. A massive electrical storm appeared without warning, striking the ship with lightning-like energy that disabled its systems. The communications array exploded in a shower of sparks. We're stranded, the Federation pilot announced, panic evident in his voice. Backup systems are failing. Emergency beacon damage. Commander Vax pulled Krell aside. speaking urgently. "This wasn't supposed to happen. I arranged for small difficulties, not catastrophic failure." "You sabotaged the mission?" Krell asked, horrified. "Just enough to ensure humans couldn't succeed," Vax admitted, "but something on this planet amplified the effects." Jack overheard their conversation. Rather than anger, his face showed determination. "Everyone gather around," he called. Change of plans. While Federation crew members panicked, the human team organized. They established a shelter using the ship's emergency supplies combined with local materials. They devised a filtration system for the toxic atmosphere inside their bivouac. Most importantly, they remained calm. "The storm will pass," Jack explained, studying weather readings. "When it does, we can repair the communication array using parts from our survey equipment." "Impossible," Vax declared. "This environment will kill us before help arrives." "Then we better work quickly," Jack replied simply. What followed astonished the Federation observers. Humans worked in shifts, venturing into the hostile environment to gather materials. They adapted Federation technology to work under conditions it was never designed for. When one approach failed, they tried another without hesitation. On the third day, Krell found Jack outside the shelter, examining a crystalline formation. "You should conserve your suit's power," Krell advised. Jack pointed to the crystal. "These formations conduct energy similar to our piezoelectric materials. We can use them to boost our distress signal."